Hiya, gang. Pull up a grandstand seat and join us in a swing around the spring training camps of the 3 New York ball clubs. The season is well underway now, and all 3 teams are doing a swell job. But training camp's a great place to find out what made them that way. So here we are at Atlantic City, where your old pals, the New York Yankees, took a very hot team out of the mothballs. They're currently booming along right up at the top of the American League. And here's manager Joe McCarthy to tell you why.
This is Joe McCarthy, manager of the Yankee Baseball Club, speaking to you fellas who are doing a wonderful fighting job for Uncle Sam all over the world. We have 5 good outfielders, and Russ Derry, Paul Wainer, Johnny Lindell, Bud Matheny, and Tut Stainback. We have Nick Etten on first base, George Sternweiss at second base, and as some of you boys know, George was quite a ball player in the American League last year. In fact, I made the prediction that George was one of the greatest ball players in the major leagues last year. We have Joe Bouzis, a young fella from Newark, who we expect may play shortstop. Oscar Grimes, who done a good job at third base last year, and as a whole, we feel that our pitching is better off than it was this time last year.
And this is the way they shape up around the horn. Ossie Grimes at third, Snapper Grimes they call him, little Snuffy Sternweiss at second. Along with first baseman Nick Etten, they give the infield a trio of seasoned veterans. The new kid, Joe Bouzis, figures to make it at short. If not, McCarthy has Frankie Crosetti, a Bronx bomber from way back, who still has plenty of baseball left. The outfield looks a little lonesome for DiMaggio, Keller, Henrik, and Selkirk, but the new right fielder, Russ Derry, carries a big, big stick, and Stainback, Lindell, and Matheny are good, solid ball hawks. They had this other new man for a while, too. Hey, what's your name, son?
This is what remains of what used to be Big Poison Paul Wainer, starting out my 25th season in professional ball. I had the pleasure of coming over the CBI area this winter, around Kunming, around Michinaw, Shaba, and I had quite a lot of fun over there, talking to you fellas. Enjoyed a lot of ball games over there, particularly the one down Aledo Road, where we had an 11-inning tie, 0-0, Christmas Day. They said they were going to play it off next year, which was New Year's Day, and I heard they had quite a game there. But I really enjoyed being over there with you fellas, and you really made it very pleasant for us. And I know we'll try to give you a lot of baseball as much here in our training, and I hope that I'll make it through. I'm pretty sore. I just worked out the first day yesterday, but I'll get out and try to make it because I think baseball will need us old fellas even this year, the way conditions are. And thank you very much.
The big question mark in front of any club is the pitching. Who's got the stuff and how good is it? Well, maybe the Yanks have the answers this year. The Big Four is back. Bonham, Baroe, Donald, and Dubiel. With any kind of break, each one could chalk up 20 or more in the winning column. There's Hank Baroe. He won 17 games last year and looks better than ever. So does Walt Dubiel. There he is in the center with Big Emerson Roser, both getting the big eye from the boss. Here's a couple of new ones. Carl Drews on the left, and Alan Gattell. Gattell was a hot kid in Norfolk last season and dishes up some fancy big-time wrinkles. That's Atlee Donald way over on the right. Atlee, you remember, was part of that great Gomez-Ruffing-Chandler combination. Here's the Yankee mound staff sharpening up on an always tough play, getting over to cover first. Many a pitcher gets a leg full of spikes in this little operation. That's why they practice it for hours at a time. There's Tuck Stainback with a pepper stick. A swell ball player, Tuck, and it looks like he's in for a good season. He'd like a word with you.
Hello, you guys everywhere, especially you guys down in the South Pacific, where Johnny Lindell and I made our tour this last winter. Sador, Finch Haven, Hollandia, Biak, Howie, Nome Fort. All those places bring back a lot of memories to us. Very pleasant memories we spent. Lots of pleasant hours. Guys over there. Our conditions here are a little colder than the ones we had there. If you remember that game on Nome Fort, Bushmasters, 140 degrees, that's all. It's a lot of fun. May I introduce myself? Tuck Stainback, New York Yankees, hometown, North Hollywood, California. We'd like to make it again someday. You guys gave us a lot of pleasure. If we can bring the game back to you a little closer, some of these shots here at spring training would satisfy us very much. Hope to see you home again soon, gang. Really mean it.
The team's beginning to find its batting eye, too. Russ Derry, Ossie Grimes, Snuffy Sternweiss, Joe Boozes, Mike Garbark, Bud Matheny. They all take a pretty healthy cut at the ball. And that just about winds us up here. The overall picture is bright. A good infield, pretty good outfield, and very good pitching. Maybe not a great team, but you've seen plenty of fire and blood in the eye to get that pennant back over the stadium.
And you use your judgment of just how you think the Yankees are going to finish. And whatever you do, don't sell the Yankees short.
And so we move over to the National League and Lakewood, New Jersey, where it's the New York Giants knocking the ball around and getting those muscles out of winter storage. Last year, the boys from Coogan's Bluff finished a little too deep for pleasure, but right now they're leading the league. There's Mel Ott talking to some reporters. Let's go over and find out what gives. Hey, Mel, how about handing us the lowdown on the National League this year?
Well, swell, I'll be glad to.
I
See you
see
fellas
you.
later. Well, hello, fellas. I'm back down here in spring training again, and from what I've seen and read about these other ball clubs, looks like we ought to have a real tight race. Last year, the Cardinals, of course, won the pennant by 18 or 19 games, and they've got a good ball club again this year. But Pittsburgh last year, after a slow start, got going real good at the end of the season, and they've got a real good ball club. Looks like they've got a chance to be up in there, as have the Chicago Cubs. They get a little improvement in their pitching. They've got a real good balanced ball club with a lot of power and a good infield and a good outfield. So the way things shape up, those three ball clubs are going to be right up in there, and I think the race is going to be a whole lot tighter than it was last year.
Hey, Mel, is Carl Hubbell around any place?
Yeah, Carl's around here somewhere. Let me see if I can find him. Maybe you can tell him why he's not pitching anymore. Hey, Hub.
I guess a lot of you fellows are wondering why I'm not still pitching for the Giants. Well, it isn't through choice, it's more through necessity than anything else. You know, there always comes a time when a fellow gets to where he can't do things like he could when he was a little younger. I would rather be pitching than anything else, but just one of those things. Through Manager Ott's suggestion, I've taken the job now as the field director of the Giants, and all my job is now is to find and develop ball players for him at the Polo Grounds. It's a pretty big order, I know, but I think give us a few years and a few breaks, that we'll have the Giants back up where they belong. That's first place.
Well, I suppose all you fellas have been wondering how our team's going to shape up this year. I'll try to give you an idea about what the lineup will be. We have some pretty good pitchers this year. Bill Voiselle last year won 21 ball games. With a little bit more luck, he would have won 6 or 7 more, I think. Then we got Van Mungo back, who looks better and in better shape than he has been in quite a while. He should be all right. Harry Feldman had a pretty good last year. There's no reason to think that he won't improve. We've got 3 or 4 new pitchers, Harrell and Bain and Emmerich. Rube Fisher is back in good shape, and they should be all right. This is probably the first time in I don't know how long that Ernie Lombardi, our catcher, has reported the first day in spring training. Lom last year had a poor year, and I think he's out to show everybody that it's not going to happen again. You know, I think Lom has even picked up a little bit in his speed this year. Looks like he's a step or 2 faster. I've seen Lom stretch more triples and doubles in the singles than any other ball player I ever knew, I think. At first base, we're going to have Phil Weintraub, who last year, until he turned his ankle, was having a real good year. Phil was leading the league in runs batted in until he got hurt. At second base, we're going to have George Hausman. At third base, Nap Reyes. In the outfield and left field, we're going to have Joe Medwick. Joe's been around a long time. Last year, he hit .337 or 8 for us. And I think Joe's going to go ahead and have another good year for us. In center field, we have Johnny Rucka or Red Treadway. Both of them are real fast base runners. They're good outfielders. They can throw. And they're the kind of fellas who, either one of them, make a good lead-off man. Their speed will make them beat out a lot of those infield hits. And they'll get on base all the time for you, which is what you want in a lead-off man. We have another outfielder that you men I know have heard about, the great Gardella. Dangerous Dan, they call him, too. If Danny could field and hit the way he can sing and act, why, what a ball player he'd be.
Say, who's that out in right field, Mel?
By golly, that looks like Mel Ott out in right field. Hey, Mel, what position are you going to play this year?
What do you say, Durant?
Well, I think that's entirely up to the manager. I don't know what I'm going to do with that guy.
Some other clubs could use him. And there's Coach Dolph Lukey cutting some grass. Dolpho believes in giving the infield a real workout. This is called wearing out the diamond, making the move to the left, right, up and down, like Nap Reyes here. A pretty tired boy.
Well, what do you say?
Now comes shortstop Kerr to get the same treatment. You're not a giant till your tongue's hanging out, so go get it, boy. Pick it up. Oh, fine. Okay, back the other way. Come on, don't shake hands with it. Get it in. Now one more, come on, get it. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Well done. The outstanding thing about the team this year is the tremendous hitting power all the way down the line. Ott, Medwick, Lombardi, Weintraub, Filipowicz, they all poke a plenty long ball. Of course, the giant uniform probably brings you back to 1,001 baseball afternoons, all centered around the great John McGraw. He gave the team some of its greatest players, all the way from Christy Mathewson to Bill Terry. And if the present giant ball club has no Hubbell or Mancuso, JoJo Moore or Babe Young, Freddie Fitzsimmons, Shanty Hogan, or the rest, give it a chance. It's got a great tradition. All things considered, it's a swell club with plenty of sock. And if the pitching holds up, and the midsummer heat doesn't burn out the older men, the Giants can really do it in the 1945 pennant race.
Well, that's the way things look back here, fellas. I'd like to say hello again to all the friends we made last year when we visited the Western Front, the men of the 1st, the 9th, and the 3rd Armies, also those with the 82nd and the 101st Airborne Divisions. I want to wish you all the very best of luck, and hurry back home. We'll be waiting for you. Good luck to all of you.
Of course, you know who this is. What other team could run the bases so nimbly, so adroitly, so alertly, and with so much finesse? And this chap, who else could be so calm, so cool, so fully in command? Why, sure. It's the Brooklyn Dodgers, the Ebbets Fielders, the Bums, the most colorful team in the major leagues. And this is their colorful manager, Lippy Leo Durocher, who likes nothing better than to be...
Speaking about this year's club for Brooklyn, after all, how bad can we get? We finished 7th last year, and I know that this club is going to be quite an improvement over our last year's club. The outfield is the strongest part of our ball club, but pitching, we've acquired some new young fellas, and I look for them to be much better than the pitchers we had last year. Our catching is going to be all right, just as long as we can hang on to Mickey Owens. Don't know how long that'll be, but I hope it's for at least a month. And the infield is beginning to take shape now. I look for the Brooklyn Club to be much stronger than they were last year. At first base, I'm going to play a converted outfielder into a first baseman, Augie Galland, who has played there, but not too much. At shortstop, I'm going to have that 17-year-old boy from Brooklyn, Tommy Brown, who finished up last season with me. At third base will be Bill Hart, who was with me in the spring and then finished the season at New Orleans, who I think is going to be quite a ball player. In left field, I have a fellow named Maury Adderholt, who played with Montreal, who is a powerhouse at the plate. In center field will be Louis Almo, the Puerto Rican, and in right field will be the Flatbush favorite, Dixie Walker, who led the National League in hitting the past year. Catching, for the time being at least, will be Mickey Owen, Clyde Sukeforth, Ray Hayworth. In the pitching department, I have quite a few newcomers this year, but in the old mainstays, Hal Gregg, Kurt Davis. There'll be a new kid named Fun, another young old fellow we call him, Nicholas from St. Paul, a boy named Rudolph, Lombardi, Vic Lombardi from the coast, and several other young fellows. And of course, I left out one position, and that's going to be quite a treat for me. I haven't played in the last couple of years, but old man Durocher will start at second base on opening day. Now, don't laugh, fellas, you may need a stretcher on the following day, but for the one game, I'll at least start the season at second base.
Charlie will catch him for me, then.
And now let's watch the way Leo gets the team into shape and into the headlines.
You look great. Come on, Sabina. Well, talk about your sieve infield. I got one here. Well, you know, come on, Brzezinski. Where are you playing? Get over there. Get those two out of the way and get over shortstop. How are you going to get over here? Somebody will tie a horse to you.
Go on the ball, Johnny.
You got to move around. Come on, Sandlot. How do you go this way? Come on. You look great. Well, Brownie. Come on. Boy wonder. There you are. Right away. Try it again. You got to have a little life, you know. That's it. Now, let the air out of that thing. Are you ready? Come on. What's the matter with that one? Uh-huh. Yeah. I'll get you on that dog yet. Go over second base. Come on.
And while manager Durocher is trying to break as many legs as possible, let's switch over to the Grand El Broncho Ricky, modest, unassuming owner of the Dodgers.
I've just been asked to say a few words about the immediate future of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Now, I don't want to lie about it. I saw Leo Durocher up here a few minutes ago, and I let him take care of the optimistic side of this club. However, I'm greatly cheered up because this morning I had a telegram from a boy who's been in the fighting forces for 3 years. He just is out, and he wants to play ball, and we're going to bring him in. And he's a great player. When he signs up, I'll give his name. And just now I'm looking at a left-hander named Lombardi that comes to us from the Navy. He's going to make a great pitcher in Brooklyn. This Brooklyn club may not win the pennant this year, but it's in the making. I'll guarantee that to you. And it's going to be a great club to watch. I have absolute faith in the future of the Brooklyn Dodgers, and it isn't too far off.
Want to try for two? You want to try for two?
Leo's always at his charming best during infield practice. If you play for Durocher, you've got to have pepper and plenty of moxie. He'll ride the pants right off a greenhorn.
Hey, Tippy! You look great. Try it again. Oh, those big hops. You always get those big hops. Come on, Brownie. The Sandlot wonder.
Come on. Hey.
Kiwanis League. Go on. Now pick it up and throw it. Oh. Now look, you haven't got a bucket of paint with you on third base, you know. You've got to get the paintbrush out of your hand. Let's go. I'll break you in right. Come on, Dix. Oh, there you are. Want to try it again? Want to try it for a Coca-Cola? Well, you better back up, you know, you're pretty close. You like the level on, eh? Well, we'll give you one of those then.
Nice line of chatter Leo's got.
Good. Must have been playing in the closet all winter. Give it another one. Well,
Kind but firm, that's
come
Leo.
on, two-gun heart. I'll get you yet. Got you on the foot once, you know. Give him on the third, will you, Leo? Hit one on the third? Why, sure. Tie your shoes on, Dixie. Do your best now. This is for the movies. How's that? Did you get that? It was a dandy if it had stuck in your glove. You'd have had him there. Get more money.
That's right fielder Dixie Walker warming up on third. Let's get him over to say a few words.
And I just thought that it'd be a good idea to mention that inasmuch as we're starting this spring training off, or at least it's my first day, I'd mention a couple of games that we played while we were over in the CBI Theater. We played one game against General Chenault's team, or rather we played with General Chenault, and managed to lose the game in the 6th inning, I believe it was. We had a 6-run lead, and went ahead and lost the game with 6-run lead and 2 men out. So you can see that General Chenault was pretty glad to get us out of camp.
The Dodgers have a fighting team this year. The lineup is loaded with new faces and new talent. Names like Durocher, Basinski, Stanky, Savino, and Adderholt. Add them now to the list of targets. Targets for the love and hisses that echo through the stands at Ebbets Field. The Mound Corps particularly. Vic Lombardi here, the West Coast Flash, is fresh from the Navy. That's Ray Hayworth catching. And this is Big Leroy Fund, another promising Ricky rookie. The Dodgers always do the unusual. This contraption is a control net for pitchers. It helps get the free walks out of the old soup bone, because anywhere inside the square is a strike. By the way, recognize this fellow? It's Ben Chapman, one-time outfielder for that great Yankee team of the 30s. Ben was the fastest man in baseball then. Now, at 36, he's a pitcher, and plenty good. Right through the old netting, Ben. Here's hoping you keep her there all season. Leo's got some sluggers, too. Augie Gallan, Bordegaray, Flip himself, Adderholt, and, of course, Dixie Walker.
Well, fellas, that's the general picture of the Brooklyn Club for this coming year. But before leaving you, I'd like to just tell you how happy I was to be able to make the trip overseas this past year. This fall, I left here with Joe Medvick, an outfielder with the New York Giants, Nick Etten, first baseman of the Yankees, Tom Meany, the sports writer for PM, and myself. And we visited quite a few places in Italy. We left here and landed in Naples and went from Naples to Caserta, Caserta to Florence, Florence over to Farno on the Adriatic coast, to Tarquinia and Cressetta, back into Leghorn and Pisa, and then we were in Florence for the Spaghetti Bowl game on New Year's, and then we stopped off in Rome for about a week, and then back into Naples to finish up the trip. I met an awful lot of boys that I had seen in the States in the past few years. One of them was Bert Haas, the third baseman for the Cincinnati Reds, who I met in Florence. Also Edgar Smith, the left-hand pitcher for the White Sox, who was also in Florence. All I can say, fellas, is that I wouldn't have missed it for the world. It was a grand trip, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And I hope that you fellas are all home soon, and that the next time that I do get to see you fellas again, that you'll be back home in your favorite ballpark. Thanks very much, and good luck to all of you.